What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We got a phenomenal video today. Something I've wanted to do for a very long time. We got the S1000 here all set up on the stands. I got to put one more thing up underneath to hold it because we're actually going to be removing this front wheel, and we got some new parts for this. Has to do with the front wheel. And let me tell you, it is a massive upgrade for roll racing and just racing in general. This adds so much. Adds braking power, helps with braking, helps with rotational on the front wheel. We'll just go ahead and show you real quick. This front wheel, spin it. You can hear the pads actually rubbing. So the brake pads are actually rubbing the rotor here, and it's slowing it down a ton. Barely getting any rotation out of that. So we got some new parts for this. Super excited for it. Brembo, of course. Look at those beautiful rotors. Oh my Lord. So I've already opened up the box. This comes beautifully packaged. All this nice foam inserts is protecting everything. There's a layer on top. The box that this came in, there was padding on both sides of the box to help it from moving around. But look at this. So you can hear it move. So your pins here, your buttons as they're called, these little pieces here, you can hear it moving around. These are a lot different than OEM. OEM is like more pressed on, where there's these C clips, or some people call them E clips, that hold these in and actually let this thing move. So it will actually move, it will flow in between your brake pads so it doesn't rub. This thing is absolutely gorgeous, and it's going to add so much to that front wheel. It's going to not slow it down as much. It's going to let it free spin a lot more. You will hear this chatter when you move it around and, like, rolling it around the parking lot in and out of your garage. You will hear this. So if you don't like that, I would not advise getting this. But let's get this front wheel off. I'll walk you through what I'm going to do real quick. So I'm going to take off this bolt here, and the caliper will come off. Same thing to the other side, and then there's this pinch point bolts here and two on the other side as well. And then the front wheel will just come right out. But before we do that, I got this. And put it. Oh my God, this thing's heavy. Especially for one hand. I recommend putting that under there. It'll go under your oil pan and it will help support the bike. That way it's a little bit safer to mess with your front end, because once your wheel is off, this is separate than the other side, so it will move a lot, and your front end will move a lot. I would highly recommend putting that underneath so it supports the entire bike, and you don't have to rely on so much this front stand as much. It's a lot safer to work on, and way easier putting this thing back together when you go to. So let me go ahead and get this taken apart, and we'll get this baby installed, and I'll show you how much better this is. Still not bad, but wait till you see what it's like after those babies are installed. So we've already got the wheel off. Super freaking easy. Only a couple minutes and already had the wheel off. I've even got the other side done as well in a matter of a few minutes. So I got my scale out over here. I know some people like to see this zeroed out. Throw it on the scale. All right, 3.57. 3.57 for the stock, And for the free floating, not much, a few ounces. So 3.57 to 36.3. Not bad. So we're gaining like an ounce. Not bad at all for the huge upgrade that this gives us. I'll go ahead and bolt this on. The writing, there's only writing. I'll show you this one since I've already got that one in place. So there's no writing whatsoever on here. And see, this is how these are installed. They're like pressed and rolled on. So there's no writing whatsoever on the inside. You'll see here, that's your thickness, 4.5 mils. But you have the writing on the outside. Same with this. This is the outside of the tire. There's your writing. That way you know which way they go. So go ahead and bolt this last one up, get her installed, and we'll see what performance upgrades this has. And just like that, she's all back together, looking absolutely amazing. So that S1K chick was worried about the color of the rotors, but honestly, the color of the rotors and the front forks look really, really good together. So I don't have any complaints with how it looks. It looks absolutely freaking amazing. So that's a huge plus because we were worried about that. So we might do the exact same for the M1000, because let me tell you, it's a huge freaking upgrade. I could not believe how much of an upgrade it really freaking was with such a small change. There's such, here, let me flip the camera around. There's a little bit of play in the rotors, okay? A little bit of play. I've already squeezed the brakes in to get the pads pumped back against the rotors here. Just that little bit of play. Even down here, there's a little bit of play. My camera would focus. Still a little bit of play, even right in between the pads. A little bit of play still. So I checked the video because I was wondering how many rotations I got out of it. I went from the valve stem right around in this area here. There's roughly 3.5 rotations back. If you want to slow my video down in the beginning to see, it's roughly like 3. There's more than 3, 3.5, maybe 4 if I've spun it really hard. Well, let's go see, zoom out a little bit here. Let's see how much we get out of it now. And I barely rolled that. Barely. Look at it. Look, barely. One finger. So let's get a good one out. Good. Holy crap, does that make a huge difference. Now, just to show you guys, I'm going to rotate it. Reach my hand up here. Oh, they weren't pressed in all the way. Okay. All right, well, there they are, pressed in nice and good. Reach up again. Good. So look at how much they still spin. That's insane. Squeeze them. So they do drag a little bit, but I'm telling you right now, the more you ride this, and this will go in and out of your pads, it will actually open your pads up with it moving like that. It will actually push your pads, so as you ride, it will actually get a little bit better. You just kind of chatter them a little bit, rotate it, squeeze. Lord. Where's my valve stem? So we had 3 rotations before. 4. I think that was 5 and I think a half. We'll do it one more time. Squeeze the brakes. Let's see where it's at. And squeeze the brakes. That is insane, the difference. It's almost twice the amount of rotation. And again, the more you ride this thing, it will spread your pads apart a little bit because this does move. So like right now it's super tight. There's not much play against the pads, but the more this wheel spins, the more it will actually spread your brakes apart, and the easier it will spin and the faster it will spin with less resistance. So it'll be much, much better for riding. And with the rotor being able to move like this, it's actually going to rub against your brake pads better when you brake, so it will slow you down faster, which is nice. Yeah, look at all that play. There's a lot of play now in between the pads. Huge upgrade. Highly recommend it. And while we were down here, because I didn't show this in the beginning, this is what I was talking about. Just barely pressed against the motor there, just to touch it and support the front end. It's all you need. But that's pretty much it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Go check out my Patreon. I do have that up and going now, so go check that out. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Leave it down below. Should we do this bike next with free floating rotors? What do you think? What do you think? Looks absolutely amazing.